जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरवन चारी यमुना तीरवन चारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरवन चारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare। Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare। जय राधा कालचंजी राधा कालचंजी राधे। जय राधा कालचंजी राधा कालचंजी राधे। Jayo Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe. Jayo Jagannath Jayo Jagannath Jayo Baladeva Jayo Subhadra. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai God. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo Jayo Gurudev 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 Jayo Jayo Gurudev. Nitai Gaur Premananda. Jayo Jayo Shri Caitanya Jayo Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Jayo Shri Caitanya Jayo Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Jayo Shri Caitanya Jayo Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrta ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki. So, Hare Krishna. So we are doing Chaitanya Charitamrta today, as every Sunday. And you can keep the Mridanga. Prabhu will do a Vaishnava bhajan if that's okay. Thank you. So we are in, if you want to pull it out, we are in Madhya 11. We'll be starting from text 12. But before that, it was Lochandas Thakur's disappearance, and I think day before yesterday. And we heard in the Samadhi book about the bhajan that he had written. This is Parama Karuna. And this bhajan is very dear to us, especially when Srila Prabhupada was installing Gaur-Nitai in Atlanta. And he started singing this, reciting this bhajan. And as he couldn't complete it, as soon as he started singing, he started choking. And every time, whenever I get darshan of Atlanta deities Gaur-Nitai and this song, it's very deeply connected. And so it's dear to us as well. It has wonderful purports. By the time you pull it out, I will just do my Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Praying at the lotus feet of my spiritual master, at our dear most Srila Prabhupada and all the Guru Vargas, that may I speak some words in the glorification of our dear most Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. For my purification and for the pleasure of the Vaishnavas, Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patita Nam Pavnevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Nama Mukum Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yet Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Deenataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Kathanchana Smite Yasmin Dushkaram Sukaram Bhaved Bismite Viparitam Syat Shri Chaitanya Namami Tvam. Hare Krishna. So this is by Lochan Das Thakur. Parama Karuna Pahudui Jana Nitai Gora Chandra. Parama Karuna Pahudui Jana Nitai Gaura Chandra. Shava Avatara Sharashiromani Kevalo Ananda Kanda. Bhaja bhaja bhai Chaitanya Nitai Shudriro Vishwas Kori. বিষয় ছাড়িয়া সে রসে মজিয়া মুখে বলো হরি হরি। দেখো রে ভাই ত্রিভুবনে নাই এমন দয়ালো দাতা। পশু পাখি ঝুড়ে পাশানো বিধারে শুনে যার গুণ গাথা। সংসারে মজিয়া রহিলে পড়িয়া সে পাদে নাহিল আশা। আপনা করম ভুঞ্জায় সমানা কোহে লোচন দাসা। পরম করুণা পাহু দুই জনা নিতাই গৌরা চন্দ্রা। Thank you. We'll read Parama Karuna Pahudui Jana. That's the ultimate mercy. Param Karuna means we know it's the mercy. Param Karuna means the ultimate Karuna, the ultimate mercy or compassion. Pahudui Jana, whose Duijana is Nitai Gaurachandra, as it says the next line. Shabo Avatara Shara Shiromani. Like of all the incarnations, the topmost we call, he is not an avatar, he is an avatari. Krishna is the avatari. And the most merciful one, who is it? Nitai Chandra and Gaurachandra. Kevala Ananda Kanda. Bhajo Bhajo Bhai. Bhajo Bhajo Bhai. Caitanya Nitai. Brother, oh brother, please worship whom? Caitanya Nitai. Bishaya Chariya, Sheroshe Mojia. Leave all the material desires, Bishaya Chariya. Sheroshe Mojia, being imbued with it, the mellows. Mukhe bolo Hari Hari. Say just Hari Hari. Say Hari Hari. Dekho re bhai, Tribhuvane nai. See, oh brother, in these three worlds, we know the middle planetary system, the upper and the lower planetary system. That's the Tribhuvan. There is no one, Amono Dayaladata, who can give such mercy, who can give such compassion. And whenever I hear this, that anybody is, this is the topmost person who can give, the personality who can give mercy, I think it is Srila Prabhupada. Because if at least even with the background and everything, if I know anything of Krishna consciousness, it's only because of Srila Prabhupada. So, Krishna is merciful, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is even more merciful. But the most merciful one is Srila Prabhupada. Emono Dayaladata, nobody can give such mercy like Gaur Nitai. Boshu Pakhi Jure, the birds and the beasts are crying. Pashano Bidore, the stone is melting. Gune Jaharo, Shune Jaharo Gunakatha. Hearing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's glories, the activities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even the stone is melting, the birds and the beasts are crying. Shamshare Mojiya Rohile Poriya. You've been entrapped in this material world and being, engrossed with my house, my wife, my children, and my. And this world, you have been there. Shepode Nahilo Asha. You have we all have no attachment towards the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Ram. Apana karama bhunjaya shamana. So we are being punished. Now this is, Lochan Das is speaking about himself, that he is suffering from his own karma. Kohe Lochan Dasa, he is saying his story. So which is for us, of course. As I was thinking of, not just this, but the songs by all the Vaishnava bhajans are so important. Prabhupada said, Chaitanya Charitamrta is PhD, but above that, a notch higher is the Vaishnava bhajans. And these bhajans are, you can say, peak to the spiritual world. We hear this Narottam Das Thakur's, the Radha Krishna Pran Moda, and he says in that song what is his constitutional position and what service he renders there in that spiritual world, that he, fans, and then he does the chamar, and then he applies the chandan, tilak, and how he does. He says that he is in a manjari bhav because he says how he is under the guidance of the sakhis. So these Vaishnava bhajans are so, you may have to read few pages to understand, to get into the mood of Krishna consciousness. But when it comes to Vaishnava bhajan, it's just one bhajan or a line or a two, and you can immediately come back to, you can set your goal back. If I'm talking for myself, if I get derailed, if I hear one Vaishnava bhajan, and that's it, it's like, okay, it keeps reminding me, what our goals are. We hear Bhaktivinoda Thakur saying, his songs, and of course Narottam Das Thakur's songs are much recommended for us as sadhakas, as practitioners, devotees, that it tells how things are around and we will be always entrapped into it. But our main goal, we should not forget our main goal. I was hearing Prabhupada's lecture where he was saying, are we not supposed to eat? Are we not supposed to do this, that? And then he was saying, we are supposed to do all that, but we should not forget what's our ultimate goal. And that's ultimate goal is getting service at the lotus feet of Shri Radha and Krishna. So this is Chaitanya Charitamrta, Madhya 11. I start from 12. Now we are into a certain scene, where Prataprudra is there, and Prataprudra is a king, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there in Jagannath Puri, and Prataprudra being associated with women and wealth, Mahaprabhu being a sannyasi, a renunciate, it does not match with each other. And how the devotees are trying to bring them together is the story. I will read some of it, some section of it. I hope I get through the one that I want to go through, but we will try. 12. We don't have the screen, so I will read. If you please raise your hand or tell me if you want to read along. So now, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is telling about Prataprudra, that Prataprudra is a wonderful devotee, and please give your audience to him. And that's where Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is. But Sarvabhauma, in the previous verse, he has already spoken about it. And now, what Mahaprabhu is replying to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is what 12 is. এই সেবা তো পুনরাপি মুখে না নিবে কহ যদি তবে আমায় থানা দেখিবে. Earlier when Chaitanya Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was saying that, I want to tell you something, but say yes to it, okay? And then it's like a child and a parent. And then Mahaprabhu says, I will say yes if it is something that I should say yes. And that's when he started saying this, and then Mahaprabhu realized that he couldn't say yes to it. And that's where he is saying, if you talk like this, you will not see me here. He is threatening back. Bhattacharya, translation by Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. Bhattacharya, if you continue to speak like this, you will never see me here again. Therefore, you should never let such a request come from your mouth. ভয় পাইয়া সর্বভৌমা নিজ ঘরে গেলা বাসায় গিয়া ভট্টাচার্য চিন্তিত হইলা. So hearing this, of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just returned, right, from South India Yatra. Now he doesn't want Mahaprabhu to go again. It was a big time separation, and as we keep reading and hearing that they keep getting fainted and this, that. So they don't want to take that pain again. It's like being separated from Krishna. How gopis felt, these devotees in Jagannath Puri, they were separated for a while, and now they don't want to feel the separation. So as soon as Mahaprabhu said it, he got scared. So he went back home. He did not say another thing, and he just went back home. He didn't want Mahaprabhu to go from there. Being afraid, Sarvabhauma returned home and began to meditate on this matter. হেনো কালে প্রতাপ রুদ্র পুরুষোত্তমে আইলা পাত্র মিত্র সঙ্গে রাজা দর্শনে চলিলা. At this time, Maharaj Pratap Rudra arrived at Jagannath Puri, Purushottama, and accompanied by his secretaries, ministers, and military officers, went to visit the temple of Jagannath, Lord Jagannath. Purport: it appears that Maharaj Pratap Rudra used to live at Cuttack, his capital. Later he shifted his capital to Khurda, a few miles from Jagannath Puri. Presently, there is a railway station there called Khurda Road. Cuttack is like, I guess, from Bhubaneswar Puri, it is like 4-5 hours of travel by road. So that's where Pratap Rudra was, his capital was, and then he moved it to Khurda. রামানন্দ রায় আইলা গজপতি সঙ্গে প্রথমেই প্রভুরে আসি মিলিলা বহু রঙ্গে. When King Pratap Rudra returned to Jagannath Puri, Ramananda Rai came with him. Ramananda Rai immediately went to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with great pleasure. One thing to note, that we will understand it, but just I'm giving a prelude, that Pratap Rudra was the employer of Ramananda Rai, and Ramananda Rai also came along with Pratap Rudra, with his employer. And why he came, we will read it. One thing is, before going to the temple, Ramananda Rai came to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so we can note that here. All Indian kings are given titles. Sometimes they are known as Chhatrapati, sometimes Narapati, sometimes as Ashwapati, and so on. The king of Orissa is addressed as Gajapati. Gaja means elephant. রায় প্রণতি কইল প্রভু কইল আলিঙ্গন দুইজনে প্রেমাবেশে করেন ক্রন্দন. Upon meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramananda Rai offered his obeisances. The Lord embraced him, and both of them began to cry in the great ecstasy of love. So Rai Ramananda paid obeisances, Mahaprabhu embraced him, and they started crying. I was hearing, I wanted to share it with the, our larger group. I was hearing this Mataji, I forgot her name, it's on Brindavan channel, and she asked a very beautiful question, and she asked, it's a very awakening question, more than beautiful question. She asked, will you go to Goloka if there is still anxiety and pain and all the stuff that we are trying to get rid of here? Will you still go? So that's a good question for us to think about. Will we still go to the, what she said, I'm not revealing it here, but you can meditate on this question. Will we still go if somebody says, oh no, there is all the pains and everything that you don't like here is there? Will you still go to Goloka and serve Radha and Krishna? That was her question, so I'm asking you. You can keep it to yourself, but something as sadhakas we should think. The reason behind this question is that we don't go to Goloka. We are not aspiring for Goloka because I want to get rid of the problem. I don't like the anxiety. I don't like this. I don't like that. And what she was saying, the center is still I and not Krishna. So as we do our chanting, as we do our reading, as we do our sadhana, we should always know the goal, but we should also, introspect ourselves. What is my motive? Because it is anya abhilashita shunyam. So we should not have any material desire. And somewhere, some desires which are material but yet very subtle, it can get mixed. It may look like bhakti, but it may not be. So those are the things, as we progress in bhakti, should keep questioning ourselves. রায়ের সঙ্গে প্রভুর দেখি স্নেহ ব্যবহার সর্বভক্তের গণে মনে হইল চমৎকার. Seeing Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intimate dealings with Sri Ramananda Rai, all the devotees there were astonished. We have seen this astonishment during Rai Ramananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sambad, when they met each other, and the Brahmanas, in South India, they were astonished how they were like, this is a sannyasi, this is a grihastha, householder, shudra, government employee, etc., etc. And how are they mixing, and how are they embracing each other, and why are they so ecstatic seeing each other? And when Mahaprabhu sensed it, he pulled his emotions back, and then he acted like, and then they met in the evening in a secluded place when they spoke about Krishna. So this is again, but now they can do it because now it is all the like-minded people. They say you speak about things, especially guhyatam, like the secret things of Krishna consciousness, with people who are like-minded, who understand when you say something and they don't try to take another meaning out of it and say, and it what do you say, it makes the sweetness bitter, it makes the sweet taste bitter, because then you have to give explanation, then you have to clear your stand and etc. So you rather not say it. So we see this here, that when Mahaprabhu realized the Brahmanas, those were Brahmanas at the next to the river, when they were meeting, Mahaprabhu realized that they were not taking it right. So Mahaprabhu immediately pulled himself and straightened him up, straightened his emotion, and then they continued. But here he can express his emotion because it's all his associates, so he can be himself. Like we find ourselves, if we are with strangers, we behave in a very formal way, but if we are with friends, we behave differently, we can be ourselves. So that's what we are seeing here. So every other devotee is very astonishing seeing this love, because they haven't seen Rai Ramananda in Jagannath Puri, is my understand, because they met in South India. Now at the hearing Mahaprabhu's instruction that come to Puri is why Ramananda Rai is in Puri, and they haven't seen their alingan, like embracing each other in Jagannath Puri, and so they are very astonished, like who is this personality and whom Mahaprabhu is showing, whom Mahaprabhu is showing so much of love. Rai kohe tomar agya raja ke kohilo Tomar ichchai raja more bishaya charailo. Ramananda Rai said, I duly informed King Prataprudra of your order for me to retire from service. By your grace, the king was pleased to relieve me of these material activities. If you see Bishaya Charailo, and I wanted to speak even in the bhajan, we were saying Shudrero Vishwasa Kori, Shudriro Vishwasa Kori, which might get confused between Shudra, which is Vaishya, Shudra, and all the Varnas and Ashramas. But this is that Shudra means Shudra, like, in Bengali, Shudra also means very, very small. Or in Bengali, it's called Khudra. But in Sanskrit, if you say it, it's Shudra. So which means very small. So if you see in the ladder, it's Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and then Shudra. So that's Shudra. But this is Shudrira, Sudrira Vishwasa Kori. Like we have Meru, Parvat, and then has Sumeru. Su means it's even. It magnifies the potency of the thing. And this word has also come in Caitanya Caritamrta by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami when he says, Siddhanto boliya chitte na koro alosh, yaha hoite Krishna lage Shudriro Manosh. So we see that Shudriro Manosh, basically Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, instruct us that when we are reading scriptures, there's so much of philosophy. And don't feel lazy because there is philosophy. It's very easy to go for the stories. Philosophy is something, the brain feels tired, okay, I don't want to know about all this. So Kaviraj Goswami is giving us instruction, don't feel lazy reading the Siddhantas, know it, because from the Siddhantas, it is philosophy that will make Krishna Sudrira. Drira means very determined, and Shudrira is, as I was saying, magnifying the determination. And Krishna will be stuck here. So when you, like in the beginning days when we went to India, and they'll say, why Krishna? Why not Shiv? Why not Durga? Why not this and why not that? Because you have read Siddhantas, because you have understood the philosophy. Now nobody can, even when we die, this philosophy will go with us. We may forget so many things, so many prasadam, or maybe, I don't know whether we forget or not, but the Siddhanta is so crucial that it will remain with you this birth and the next, and it will always remain with us. So that's why philosophy is so important. And we see Prabhupada, we have Chaitanya Bhagavat, we have Chaitanya Caritamrta. We see many people ask why not Chaitanya Bhagavat and why Chaitanya Caritamrta. And why Chaitanya Caritamrta before Bhagavatam? Because it speaks about the Gur Tattva, which is the most secret and most essential philosophy, because without philosophy, Krishna will be just another thing. I mean, we are into Krishna consciousness today and maybe not tomorrow. So this Shudrira word is very important. It was in the bhajan. I'm sorry, I should have addressed it that time. But as I was reading through this, so Bishoya Charya again. And this song by Narottam Das Thakur. Goranga bolite habe pulak shorir. So in that, the one line says, Ar kobe nitai chander koruna hoibe Bishoya Chariya. No, what is that? Bishoya Chariya kobe shuddha hobe mon kobe ham herabo Shri Vrindavan. It says, when will I leave Bishoya? Bishoya means, now we all know, is the material entanglement, like me, my stuff. And kobe ham herabo Vrindavan, Shri Vrindavan. So when will I, get rid of the material entanglement, and when will I enter Vrindavan? Of course, there's material Vrindavan, but there is also Vrindavan that can reside all the time in our heart. And that's one way to stay in Vrindavan, which has been instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of all the limbs. One of the most important is staying in Vrindavan. If you can't stay physically, one of the way to stay is always meditating on Vrindavan. And that is only possible when we can get rid of the material entanglement and the desire to be in this material world and trying to enjoy little bit maybe, and as Prabhupada says, Puna Puna Charvita Charvananam, we are realizing it every day, every moment. There is nothing in this material world but this, last time, this is the last time I'm trying, this is the last time I'm getting married, and after that, never. It's the last time I'm trying to enjoy this burger, and after that, never. This last time, brings us again back to do one more last time and many more such last times. So that's why it says that Vishaya Charya. So Ramananda Rai is saying, because of you, because you instructed me and I told the king and he, let me go. And he did more than that. The King Prataparudra did more than that. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I will read the translation also. Ramananda Rai, usually, there is two ways to look into the scripture. One is called Shabdarth, one is called Bhavarth. Shabdarth is meaning, word to word meaning. And one is called Bhavartha, the contextual. What is the emotion, sentiment behind what is being said? So even if I may tell you the Bengali meaning, but I don't know the Bhavartha, I don't know the emotion behind it. So we should always read, whether you know Sanskrit or not, whether you know Bengali or not, we should always read the word to word translation. The translation itself, if not the word to word. Ramananda Rai said, I duly informed King Prataparudra of your order for me, I read that right, to retire from service. By your grace, the king was pleased to relieve me of these material activities. That is the Vishaya. Purport, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested Ramananda Rai to retire from his governorship, and according to the Lord's desire, Ramananda Rai petitioned the king. The king was very pleased to give him relief, and thus Ramananda Rai retired from service and received pension from the government. So he just didn't say, okay, you want to go? Go. He gave him pension as well. আমি কহি আমা হইতে না হয় বিষয় চৈতন্য চরণে রহে যদি আজ্ঞা হয়. This is King Prataparudra. I said, Your Majesty, I am now not willing to engage in political activities. I desire only to stay at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kindly give me permission. So Ramananda Rai is asking permission from King Prataparudra. তোমার নাম শুনি রাজা আনন্দিত হইল আসন হইতে উঠি মোরে আলিঙ্গন কইল. So King Prataparudra, who actually always desired to have an audience with the Lord, with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as soon as he heard about this, that Rai Ramananda, one of his employees, is going to meet the Lord, he got very excited. So he got up from the seat. Prabhupada, when I submitted this proposal, the king immediately became very pleased upon hearing your name. Indeed, he instantly rose from his throne and embraced me. তোমার নাম শুনি হইল মহা প্রেমাবেশ মোর হাতে ধরি করি পিরিতি বিশেষ. My dear Lord, as soon as the king heard your holy name, he was immediately overwhelmed by great ecstatic love. Catching my hand, he displayed all the symptoms of love. তোমার যে বর্তন তুমি খাও সেই বর্তন নিশ্চিত হইয়া ভজ চৈতন্য চরণ চৈতন্যের চরণ. As তোমার যে বর্তন, whatever is your salary or pension, it remains. You be free from all anxiety and continue serving the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is what the king said. As soon as he heard my petition, he immediately granted me a pension without reduction. Thus, the king granted me a full salary as a pension and requested me to engage without anxiety in the service of your lotus feet. আমি ছাড়ো যোগ্য নাহি তারো দর্শন তারে যেই ভজে তার সফল জীবন. Prataparudra is stating his plight. He's saying, I am not qualified, but you are qualified. And whoever worships Lord Chaitanya is the most fortunate one. His life is successful. Srila Prabhupada's translation. Then Maharaj Prataparudra very humbly said, I am most fallen and abominable, and I am unfit to receive an interview with the Lord. One's life is successful if one engages in his service. পরম কৃপালু তেহ ব্রজেন্দ্র নন্দন কোন জন্মে মোরে অবশ্য দিবেন দর্শন. It fills the heart. It's so overwhelming reading it. The king then said, I'll read the Bengali, what I understand, and then I'll go to Srila Prabhupada's purport. Paramo kripalu teho Brajendra Nandan. He's the most merciful one. He is the Brajendra Nandan. He is the son of Nanda Maharaj. He is the king of Braj, the Vrindavan Dham. Kono janme, some life, more, me, obasho, certainly, he will give me darshan or audience. Srila Prabhupada's translation. The king then said, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda. He is very merciful, and I hope that in future birth, he will allow me an interview. This is hope against hope, right? Krishna consciousness is hope against hope. Like, I'm not qualified today, but I'll be qualified tomorrow. I'm not capable of doing it. So, it's you are never hopeless in Krishna consciousness. There is always a hope. If not this life, then the next. It's not that this is one life, and if you haven't made it this life, you haven't made it at all. Because the soul continues. And as our desires are, shall we get a body to, satisfy those desires? If we want to serve Krishna, we will get a body that will help us to serve Krishna. And if we want to enjoy this material world, we will get a body to do so. So he's saying that even if I'm not qualified now, this life I'm king, I'm abominable, and I'm unfit. But in some life, I will not be the king, and I'll become fit to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it shows the humility. It shows, and then he's still calling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the most merciful one. And though he has been, quote unquote, not so merciful with Pratap Rudra for him being the king, which is not exactly his fault. Of course, it's karma that made him the king. But he is still saying, and I was saying, if to me at least, if somebody doesn't do something for me, I don't call that person most merciful. Of course, he is Lord. He knows that he is the Brajendra Nandan, the Lord. But even if something goes wrong, and I like, okay, this person is not so merciful. When I asked something and I didn't get it, so this person is definitely not merciful. But see, King Pratap Rudra's mood, he's still, glorifying and becoming happy. And I was thinking about it. In our spiritual life also, we want so many things, but right in front of our eyes, we see somebody else getting it. And how does it feel? I don't know, how does it feel to you? It doesn't feel nice to me. And that mood, we will see how Mahaprabhu takes what Mahaprabhu's... bringing the context. So first, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was being requested by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that please meet Pratap Rudra, please meet Pratap Rudra. He is a devotee, please don't reject him. And Mahaprabhu said, what? If you request me one more time like this, I will leave this place. If you want to see me here, don't bring such request. Now this is Rai Ramananda, again bringing the same request, and they're going back and forth. So the next one, 25. Je tahar premo arti dekhilu tomate, tar ek prema lesh nahi amate. My Lord, I don't think that there is even a fraction of Maharaj Pratap Rudra's loving ecstasy in me. So it's very cordial. It is not like, even in bhakti we can do me, my service, my Radharani should look better than Radha Govinda's Radharani, or the main Radharani. I'm giving you the other side. That, my Kalachanji or my Chota should look better. The dhoti should be like this. It's okay if others are not looking so great. It's okay if I take one jewelry from another deity and, my deities look nice. It's okay if another devotee goes into anxiety searching for that same jewelry. But my service should look very nice. Everybody should say, who dressed? I'm talking about myself. Who dressed Radha Govinda? Who dressed Chota? That, so beautiful. So you see, even if it is devotional service, but it is not for the pleasure of Krishna. It is my pleasure, my ego. So even if bhakti is so simple, it's not so simple again, because we can make it complicated. It is simple, but we can make it complicated, because it's very complicated here from birth after birth after birth. It has always been me in the center. Now it is very difficult to put Krishna in the center. But that's why we need the Siddhantas, that's why we need the philosophy. When we read, the scriptures are like mirror. When we see a mirror, you see your reflection. When you see the scripture, you see who am I? This is me or this is not me. We see that as soon as Prataprudra heard that Rai Ramananda is getting something, and that also Mahaprabhu asked him to come and serve with, not serve, but come and stay with me. Mahaprabhu is the same Mahaprabhu, it's the same goal, same destination, that Prataprudra, being the king, way superior than Rai Ramananda's position, not able to get it. Like, the jealousy, the envy that should have come into Prataprudra should have been, he could have got him kidnapped and kept somewhere, prisoned him, kill him. He could have done anything to Rai Ramananda so that Mahaprabhu does not get. I'm not getting it, so why should he get it? This mentality, we don't see it in Caitanya Caritamrta. So even if we do service, it's also, the scriptures are also very, the scripture should be the foundation for our services. And then it will be pleasing to Krishna and Guru, Srila Prabhupada. So now what Prataprudra said that, you are fortunate one, I'm unfit. And now in return, Rai Ramananda is saying what love he has for you, I don't have a fraction of it. I don't have a speck of what love Prataprudra has for you. If we see indirectly, he is also playing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to meet Prataprudra. Prabhu kahe tumi Krishna Bhakto pradhan tomake je priti kore sei bhagyavan. What is Mahaprabhu is saying? That Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, my dear Ramananda Rai, you are the foremost of all the devotees of Krishna. Therefore, whoever loves you is certainly a very fortunate person. So we are getting into, I thought I will complete this section completely, where how loving the devotee of Krishna is superior than loving Krishna himself is getting into that. But I don't think, because there are like 4 or 5 verses and we are almost closer to the time. Tomate je ato priti hoilo rajar ei gune Krishna tare koribe angikar. Now Mahaprabhu said the thing to Ramananda Rai. Because the king has shown so much love for you, Lord Krishna will certainly accept him. Purport: King Prataprudra requested an interview with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the Bhattacharya, who duly submitted the request. The Lord, however, immediately refused this interview. Now when Ramananda Rai informed the Lord how eager the king was to see him, the Lord was immediately pleased. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested Ramananda Rai to retire from his government post and come to Sri Purushettam Kshetra Jagannath Puri to live with him. When this proposal was submitted to King Prataprudra, he immediately accepted it and also encouraged Ramananda Rai by allowing him a full pension. This was very much appreciated by the Lord, and this confirms the fact that the Lord is more pleased when one serves the servant of the Lord. In ordinary parlance, it is said, if you love me, love my dog. To approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has to go through his confidential servant. This is the method Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clearly says. This is the method Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clearly says, because the king loves you, Ramananda Rai, he is very fortunate. Krishna will certainly accept him due to his love for you. So I'll pause here and see if you have any question. We have a few more minutes. And so in the future class, you would be hearing how it is wonderful with, that's what Chaitanya Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami does. He, brings the topic and then he substantiates it with many other verses from different scriptures.
Mataji, thank you very much for this class.
Thank you,
I had a question about your point about philosophy, knowing Siddhanta. I fully agree with you, and I have emphasized that so much in my devotional life. And yet, we hear how the gopis of Vrindavan don't really, like Prabhupada speaks about, that they're simple village girls, they don't emphasize philosophy. So how can we understand examples like this?
I mean, yeah, I also thought of it like, I used to think about it, but when you hear, when Uddhava comes back, and then they say, okay, we don't want Krishna. And then they say that, Krishna is this. If we read that section, you hear so much of philosophy, and that is the philosophy of our movement. So what they know, like, I don't know how to bring it into words, but, a mother automatically knows how to love a child. But there are so many books about it. But who can tell you better than the mother herself how to love the child, right? Like when the wife comes, the daughter-in-law comes, she's the one who is giving. You may give her book, but it is the mother who can tell you the best how to take care of her child. So it's like that. They are the one who gave us the philosophy. Prabhupada is the one who gave us, so Prabhupada knows it. So when it comes from Prabhupada, we know Prabhupada gave it. So at least for me, I see if Prabhupada says it, that's the end of it. Whether I am at that standard or not, that's different. But Prabhupada said it, that's the end of it. And we see that Guru Nishta is, and we hear it. Here also Prabhupada is saying, without the devotee's mercy, Dasa, Anudasa, Anudasa, without the devotee's mercy, Krishna will not be pleased with us. Krishna may not even look at us. I mean, sorry, that sounds a little bad. But yeah, but we need that devotee whom we can, hold on to, who will take us to Krishna and say, Krishna, please be merciful upon this. We see this in the case of Jagai Madhya. It was Nityananda Ram, even if they were so-called so sinful. But it was Nityananda Ram who said, if you are not supposed to kill anybody, you are supposed to kill the demon inside, not the outside, not the body, but the, the tendency to do the sin. So kill that, because your avatar is not for that. So, we always need somebody between us and the Lord. Somebody is a pure devotee. And coming back to, even if they're the simple village girls, but they knew the most how to, Yashoda Maya knew the most how to love Krishna as a child. The gopis knew the most how to love Krishna. As I have heard in classes that, there are, I didn't get to the purport, one of those purport where Prabhupada is quoting, what is that, the famous one? But right now I forgot. Yeah, Anarpita Chiram Chirad. Like where Prabhupada and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that what no one has given, even Krishna hasn't given to us, is what Mahaprabhu has given us. It is the love for Krishna. We have something called Mahabhav, which can be tasted only by the gopis. You see, we may read philosophy and get somewhere, but we cannot get where gopis are. Of course, it's a huge topic. I don't know if I'm answering you, but whatever my thoughts on it, I'm just trying to. So this is called Mahabhav. I don't know it in so much detail. It is called Madanakya and those things, of which, who is the topmost of all the gopis? Yeah, Srimati Radharani. So there is, in that Mahabhav, there are two categories which only Radharani can experience. And not even the gopis can experience, not even the Ashtasakis can experience. Nobody can experience it. This is exclusively for Radharani in that Mahabhav. And that is the bhav Mahaprabhu came to taste himself. And what he came to give is what the gopis. So if you see, even if we read philosophy, we may not even get there. So what gopis had was way beyond philosophy. But for us to stick to the process, to know this is right, we need the fundamentals. If we don't know A, B, C, D, how do we read anything further? Does it make sense, Prabhu? I don't know what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying, but if it is in the same thing.
What I'm understanding is that philosophy is a helpful tool, but it can be discarded when one has love.
Yeah, we see the Gaur Kishore. I thought you will talk about Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, because he used to only chant and he was so-called illiterate. So he wouldn't have read Srimad Bhagavatam like we do from books. But when he spoke, but he could still speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. So his chanting gave him, and he was pakka on the Siddhantas. Otherwise, Bhakti Siddhanta wouldn't have been his disciple. His name is Bhakti Siddhanta, who is the Siddhanta, the philosophical person, became the disciple of a person who would have never read as such for our understanding. But, all these people, these pure devotees, their television gets connected the moment they hold their beads. So they see it live. So they're seeing what's happening. We know this pastime of Rupa Goswami. By the way, 8:30 is Prasadam. If any of you would like to leave, please, I'll come back. Yes, Mataji. I think Prabhu also, 8:40? Okay. My job, my service was to let you know and so that you don't go hungry, but I'm here. But yeah, so we know Rupa Goswami, he was chanting, he was in his meditation when he sees Radharani be, hanging around the branch when Krishna was, being playful, and he was smiling at it. Not getting what was the, the teaching out of it. He laughed and somebody else thought that Brahmana was being laughed at, etc. Not going there. But you see, as soon as they sit, they start seeing it. For them, they need not read it from the book, what is that pastime. It is happening, and for them it is nitya, it's different, and it's a nava. It's new, and it's every day there. The moment they sit, and they're so absorbed. So for them, they don't need the books, but it is still the philosophy somewhere. It is still, those things are being documented. What is Caitanya Caritamrta? Caitanya Caritamrita is by Raghunath Das Goswami being explained to whom? To Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So basically, Raghunath Das Goswami at the banks of Radha Kund, reciting Caitanya Caritamrita every day, or rather the characteristics of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, every day for 3 hours at the banks of Radha Kund, from, it's called Swarupero Karcha, or Swarup Damodar's diary. What was he doing, Swarup Damodar? He was not reading something, he was just seeing what Mahaprabhu is doing and he was writing it down, right? And then Raghunath Das Goswami got it and he was reciting it, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami heard it from the lotus mouth of Raghunath Das Goswami, and he wrote it down. You see, their experience is our scripture. Their experience is our Siddhanta. Right? So this is how for them it is. They are the living example. And that's why they are called Ragatmikas and we are called Raganugas. If we get there, we are right now it's Vaidhi Bhakti more, but Raganugas are those who follow the Ragatmikas. None of us can become Ragatmika. We cannot become Yashoda. We cannot become Radharani. We cannot become the Ragatmikas, but we can become the follower of their footsteps. So you see, that's how we are. So they gave us, the Ragatmikas give us the philosophy, and we as Raganugas, we read those philosophy and try to follow it. Does it make sense, Prabhu? Somewhat? Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, and then I'll come to you.
Thank you, Mataji. So, on the same point, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spoke the whole philosophy, and at the end of it, he says, Sarv Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja.
That's a philosophy.
Right. But leave everything, all the religions, right? For example, on the material platform, the dharma is that wife should not leave the family, right? But on the prema platform, they actually leave. They have to leave the family. They run away. They leave their children. They pretty much everything, husbands, etc., in-laws. So, sarva dharman parityaja. If you see the opposite of that is actually follow the adharma at that level, right? So, on that platform, when the philosophy is over, which takes us from, it really takes us to the faith, in my understanding, and up to the ruchi part that we get the taste, and then comes towards the end bhav and prema. That's when whole of the philosophy goes away, and you start following, because you can't even say I love you, because when you say that has no meaning. Because you don't express, it's just there, it is there. You don't express with those words that I love you, and hence you would know that I love you. At that platform, it is just whatever you do is part of the love. You don't say it. You don't need to express in that way how we express on the material platform. That's my understanding, Prabhu, that ultimately we kind of start following adharma there. To express the love. I mean, don't take it literally, but I'm trying to make a point that all the dharmas that we have, all the rules and regulations of the Vedas actually are not to be followed at that time.
Yeah, I was hearing Srila Prabhupada. Did you have more things to say? I was hearing Srila Prabhupada recently, and Prabhupada said, first become pure. First become pure. So we do all that other things that you were saying we are supposed to do in this world, to become pure. And once you become pure, and Prabhupada said, whatever a pure devotee does is good. So that's why whatever Prabhupada did was good. We know this story when, one Mataji was, I'm just paraphrasing it, that one Mataji, she kept strawberries somewhere in the Western countries. And Prabhupada came and Prabhupada asked, oh, what is this? And Prabhupada's Mata, somebody, whoever was with him, said, these are strawberries. Oh, really? And he picked one, and that Mataji was preparing the bhoga. I said, Prabhupada, it's not offered. He said, really? He still popped it in. But the thing is, on an idol, and then Shrutakirti Prabhu also says that, why would we offer it to Krishna before Srila Prabhupada? Something on those lines. But if you see on the altar, we always, I asked this question to my Guru Maharaj once, that Guru Maharaj, that I have desires to eat this, that, and hence I cook those, and hence I offer those. No, of course, I don't know what Krishna wants to eat. I know what I want to eat. So I cook accordingly. I ask my husband, I ask my child, what do you want to eat? And I cook those. Sometimes I just cook, even if they want to eat something else, what I want to eat, I cook that. And I offer that. So everybody eats what I want to eat. So I told my Guru Maharaj this is where I am. And he said, that's why we offer it first to Guru. Because you are not pure enough to offer directly to Krishna. And then it from Guru and Guru and Guru and finally goes to Radharani. She, removes all the dirt that's been carried somehow. And then finally it becomes offerable to Krishna. So if Prabhupada ate it, it was perfectly fine because anyway it was going to first Prabhupada, through Prabhupada, then to Krishna. But there's philosophy and there's practical. But only a pure devotee can do things which are right. First become pure, that's what Prabhupada said. Thank you. Yes. Don't ask me tough question, you can answer the
No,
question.
it's just a comment actually.
Okay.
Because I heard Brihad's question, I had some thoughts about it. But first let me just make sure that I understood your question. You were saying that that we should study so much philosophy, but the gopis are the best devotees and they didn't study philosophy, and so just love Krishna. So what's the use of philosophy? Shouldn't we just love Krishna, kind of thing? No. Oh, what was your question? Okay. Yeah, I was thinking like in relation to the gopis that, when we read about Vraja Lila, we don't see the gopis, studying Shastra, but we have to understand philosophically who are the gopis. And some of those are different groups of gopis, and some of those gopis are Shrutichari gopis who actually in their previous birth were the personified Vedas. So they were literally the personification of philosophy, of scripture. And then the conclusion of their philosophical understanding was serve Krishna and Vraj. And then there's another group that were Rishichari gopis that were like the sages of Dandakaranya, who were philosophers and sages and munis, and they had all these deep philosophical discussions, and the result was what? They developed an attraction to the Lord, and they wanted to serve him in Madhya Ras, and they became gopis. So, yeah, philosophy is very important, but it's not that the goal is not to become a philosopher, is not to become a Vedic philosopher. And so we need to have both. We need to understand the role of philosophy in our practice is that we're not trying to become scholars and philosophers, but our scholarship and our philosophical understanding should bring us to, being servants of the gopis in Vraj, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was also thinking that, we can be a mercy candidate, like where Krishna just gives the love without the philosophy, but then why risk it? Rather read and understand the philosophy, or hear and understand the philosophy, because what if I'm not the mercy candidate? What if I'm not a Kripa Siddha and I have to be sadhana? I have to do my sadhana, so it's another thing. Yes, Mataji. You had a question? Yeah.
I kind of relate this to music, to instruments. People go to school to learn music theory and all these advanced mathematics that go into music, and then you see a person on the street who has no education, maybe not even teeth, and they're playing beautiful music. So I think in the same way, philosophy can be known, but it should be understood. And in the pursuit of understanding, if you need to attain knowledge, then that is great. And I think it always comes back. I think you made a good point. It is about love, because why are we even wanting to know this philosophy? So we can know Krishna better.
Yeah.
So when that is foundational to everything you do, I want to know Krishna, I want to see Krishna and everything, then it doesn't matter what you're doing. Maybe in this part of our lives we are learning philosophy, but we are still just practicing bhakti.
Yeah. I mean, of course, philosophy with service, because that service will make more sense, or rather philosophy will make more sense when we have service, and service will be more fixed and more in the right mood when we have the philosophy. So it's not just one or the other, it's all together, Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for Nectarian class. We hear all the time that one of the parts of devotional service is eventually to go stay in Vrindavan, and you also mentioned that if we cannot stay in Vrindavan, in the heart we should live in Vrindavan. Other than meditating on the pastimes of Krishna, is there something else we can practically do to live in the heart, live in Vrindavan in our heart?
That's what I was mentioning, the song, right, by Narottam Das Thakur, that when will Nityananda will have mercy upon me, and then that's when the material desires will get reduced, and that's when I will eventually go to Vrindavan. So for that we have to, of course, work. When we feel envious, don't act on it. We don't have to act. See, thoughts may come, but whether to act on it or not is our choice, at least those who practice bhakti. Because we meditate, so it gives little bit more control to our senses than the world outside. So you may feel jealous, you may feel, if I give this credit to this person, I don't like this person. But if you can go ahead and share something about that person, if that person has done well. So you see, you are acting over your nature. Even if you don't like that person, or whatever you have with that person, or anything for that matter, but you can still go ahead and do something for that person. I mean, I don't know how much I should share, but in the pujari room, suppose I don't like somebody. Suppose, I'm not saying I don't like, but I'm saying suppose I don't like somebody, is not my favorite, and I have this water which I bathed Radha Govinda with, and I sprinkle it over to different devotees. But when that devotee comes, I don't want to give. My heart says, no, don't give. But the scripture, but my understanding, but Srila Prabhupada says, don't be envious, don't be jealous, don't be this, all these negative things. So dip your hand, take the water, sprinkle it. And that will please Krishna. Trust me, that will please Srila Prabhupada for sure. Because you acted, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, come rise above the three modes. And when you have acted something which you wouldn't have otherwise, just because our Guru, our Srila Prabhupada, and Caitanya Caritamrta says, that's when it will get deeper and deeper, and will become stronger to act in a way that that will please Krishna. At least that's my practical way to do, if that helps. So, what was your question, by the way? I forgot. How to live in Vrindavan? Yeah.
How to live in Vrindavan in the heart.
In the heart. So you see, it is, as we can meditate, but how long the meditate will stay? And I was also thinking it's a mercy that comes from Krishna, or especially Radharani. If we have read a full section, I mean, I read it that time. I don't know, it was a Monday class or something like that, but I remember reading it like back to back, where Radharani's mood was being explained, how Radharani's mood is to give and incorporate every other living being. Even if she can do it herself, she brings all other living entities, all other gopis and other personalities, giving service, involving everyone, doing it together is Radharani's mood. So, and who is the the queen of Vrindavan is Radharani, or the king of Vrindavan is Radharani. So if she permits, that's what we hear often, that if she permits, we can enter Vrindavan. So to enter Vrindavan, even internally, it's also Radharani's mercy. And what best way to do things, how we follow our Guru's instruction, we also can follow Radharani's mood. Radharani's mood is to give and not to keep. So when we try to imbibe that mood by practicing, Little things, not a big thing maybe. But when we start trying to come over those things that disturbs us, that's not so much aligned with the mood that Radharani, or we read in Caitanya Charitamrta, then little by little, that her mercy, we will try to become, whether in Bengali or in Hindi also, we become patra, we become a candidate of that mercy of Radharani. And eventually we may get that state where we will always be in Vrindavan internally at least, is what I think, Mataji.
To put it in a coherent way with the example, everything you gave with the Pujari room and Radharani. So
I'm just seeing when it is very like, I want to do some service, but somebody else gets to do it. So but be happy. How Pratap Rudra was being happy that even if Rai Ramananda, not me, but Rai Ramananda is serving, Mahaprabhu is being served by such a wonderful devotee. And this is wonderful devotee because Mahaprabhu chose him, not me, him. So because Mahaprabhu's pleasure is in being with him, so I'm happy. So you see, Mahaprabhu is the center for Rai Ramananda. So of course, Rai Ramananda and Pratap Rudra. He was not thinking, I did not get the chance. He was thinking, Mahaprabhu got the association of the devotee whom he wanted. So I want to help this devotee to not get any anxiety by giving pension and immediately releasing, rather took him along to facilitate his service towards Mahaprabhu. Because Mahaprabhu is in the center. So that's a very, very difficult situation. When we get into that situation, when we practice it that way, slowly we will start residing in Vrindavan internally.
So aligning our desires and actions with Guru, Krishna and Radharani, that's when we reside in Vrindavan in the heart. Is that you're trying to come?
Come again, Mata.
So my understanding of hearing you is that when we align our desires and actions in accordance with Guru, Krishna and Radharani, that's when we can desire.
They all are saying the same thing, Mataji, because Prabhupada says, Mahaprabhu says submit to Krishna, Krishna says submit to me, I am saying submit to Krishna. We are all saying the same thing. There is no difference in what we are asking you to do. So it's the same thing, like whether you name everybody or you just say, if we listen what Prabhupada is saying or my Guru Maharaj is saying, they're all saying the same thing. Let it be for Krishna and not myself. Let Krishna be the center. Does it make? Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavneveyo vaishnaveyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Brinda ki jai, Caitanya Charitamrta ki jai, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Raghunath Das Goswami ki jai, and all glories to our dear Srila Prabhupada ki jai.